Okay, so I just ended up running around with the girls. I'm camping, by the way, and we decided to test out this gimbal from Feiyutech, the AK2000S. So I guess well, let's do the B-roll. Alright, so in this video I want to talk about these lightsaber looking things, also known as gimbals. I'm going to talk about specifically how they're used as a tool and the purpose of them, but then also touch a little bit based on this AK2000S that Feiyutech decided to send to me, test out, and give my first impressions and all that good stuff. So let's get to it. Wow, that was good. Yes! Okay, so just a disclaimer, Feiyutech did send this out to me as a review, so technically sponsored, but I'm not getting paid for it, so I can kind of say whatever I want and how I feel towards this gimbal. In this video, I'm going to go over a few things such as why even use a gimbal, why do we even need one, and also want to touch base on some of the key features on this specific gimbal, do some pros and cons, also give you some better options out there if you're interested in purchasing a gimbal or maybe switching over to another one. Now, I first started off as a photographer and I'm now more like a hybrid shooter, so I enjoy shooting both photo and video, and I do shoot weddings and portraits on both the photo and video side. But lately, for the past year or so, I've had a gimbal already. I've had the AK2000, and now currently I have the AK2000S. Now, this is your first time actually searching what a gimbal is. It's pretty much a really awesome tool that helps you stabilize the camera footage. There are a ton of really awesome filmmakers out there that use gimbals in some weird ways, put them on trucks, they're even used in movies. And one of the main things you want to worry about is the payload. So depending on the type of job that you're doing, with commercial shoots, or you're doing something like BTS for another content creator or for yourself, if you're vlogging, depending on what camera you're using and the type of lens that you're using, really changes as far as weight goes. Something like the Sony a6600, a6400 with a 20-75 fits perfectly with it, the right weight, and it balances nicely. But if you pair it with a Sony a7 III and then 35-1.4 from Sigma, it gets kind of front heavy. So it really depends again on the type of work that you're trying to do and the type of lens that you're using. Now, in comparison, you have something like the Crane 3S that holds 14 pounds and this AK2000 that holds 4.9 pounds. Big difference, different type of workload, and also different type of workflow. So you got to think about those things when you're actually purchasing a gimbal. Now, one of the biggest factors with all these gimbals, besides the payload, is the price. You got something like this gimbal right here that's at $299 versus something like the Crane 3S that's almost 700 bucks. And that's just the basic package. You have the next one up that has other features too with that gimbal that I think it's more. There are a few things with this gimbal that I actually appreciate, especially coming from the AK2000, which was released before this one. The first thing I want to go over with this gimbal is the actual menu system. It has been updated, looks way better, the user interface is better, and the user experience is better. Next thing I want to go over is the actual lock system for all the axes here. Just like the gimbals that Zhiyun has, they released also the locks too with these. Is really awesome. It's definitely something that it's quite innovative in the sense of everything locks. And the bag that I used when I went camping was the Brevity Jumper, and this fit perfectly on the side pocket. And yeah, it just works well. It locks awesome and it's sturdy and the build is great. So you don't have to worry about this thing flinging over and, just flinging around. It gets annoying when you have a gimbal like that. Now, the other awesome feature with this gimbal is the actual internal battery. You don't have to take out the battery. Compared to the AK2000, the build quality here is much better. The grip itself and also the legs, it's more sturdy. It's just more they have grip here also this time. It just feels so much better. And granted, this is a little bit lighter than the AK2000. Now, like every pro, there's a con. There are a few things that I don't like about this gimbal actually. One is this actual handle. The fact that I have to actually take this with me, detach it, and put it in my bag. It takes space in my bag, and I have to actually carry these screws with me. So that gets annoying because if I lose a screw, then I'm screwed. That was corny. Again, there's nothing wrong with this handle. You can totally use this for if you're doing sling mode. If you just want to hold it like this and put less pressure on your back. Some people have back problems, and maybe holding it like this for a long period of time might bother you. So definitely this handle will help you with that. This may or may not break you in your decision making, but for me, I probably more than likely won't be using this handle for the majority of my shoots. Now, the next issue I have with this gimbal is the actual space between the camera and the axes here. Now, it looks really awesome with the a6600. There's a bunch of space here. There's nothing hitting, but if you have a heavier lens, you got to push it back. which means you're gonna get closer to this. Now there's a bunch of clearance here right now at the moment, and it works well. It's just because the camera body is smaller, which there's like an extension to pull this back a little bit, still give it that stabilization, but have more clearance depending on the type of body that I'm using for this gimbal. Now my question to you is, what kind of gimbal are you using currently? And if you don't have a gimbal, which one are you actually planning on buying? Thanks for watching this video, guys, and if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button below, share it with your friends, all that good stuff, and until next time, stay awesome, stay fresh, keep creating. Peace.